What's good, everybody? Welcome to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking the thumbnail. Today we're going to be talking spoilers for Blue Beetle. I'm going to get into all the things that I liked and didn't like and just really talk about the specifics of the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, please go check out the non-spoiler video where I call it good and I break down my rating system. But for now, let's get into the actual movie and talk about what made it good in my opinion. So talking in a little bit more spoiler fashion, right? The CG, the suit looked great. I like the fact that Jaime Reyes is a character who is trying to find his way and not at all seeking this out. And then it gets thrust upon him. And as it is thrust upon him, he kind of embraces it, but he embraces it very reluctantly. And he has to feel the pressure to actually join the fight against the evil Cord Industries. I like the nod to the OG Ted Cord. So his character is kind of present in the background there. And I like the fact that they talk about him as like a low budget Batman. They talk about him as a guy who didn't have the scarab like this Blue Beetle has, but he created his own tech, and his tech comes into play towards the third act of the movie. I just really like all that stuff because, again, it's laying the groundwork that, hey, even though we don't have a big, huge universe and the DCEU is fading away and the DCU is coming in, y'all built a little world in this one movie where Batman exists, Superman exists, Blue Beetle existed in the form of Ted Cord, and he was the same character that you knew from the comics and stuff. It was dope the way they did that. I like the fact that, you know, Ted Cord had the gadgets and they showed up. Now let's talk about those gadgets and how they were used and who they were used by, because when I did my video, I posted, you know, it was cheesy. It was good, but it has a lot of cheese in it. The family, man. The family provides the heart and the family also provides the cheese. So when they start getting the Cord Industry stuff and like running around this little island fighting against Cord Industry soldiers and like really making things happen, it provides the worst part of the movie. Like the sister with the big hand and hitting people, the grandma with the minigun. Like, what is going on? I watched that part that, the grandma saves him in the end. And then another wave of soldiers come and she's standing there screaming, shooting the gun. And it's like, man, you're going to lose a lot of people with this. A lot of people are going to see this grandma holding this big minigun. They're going to roll their eyes so hard and they're going to, whatever score they had for the movie is going to go down because y'all put that in there. But hey, you know, y'all thought it was cute and funny and y'all were going for the laughs. And I think that's those moments where they were really going for the laughs gonna fall super flat and hurt the movie, in my opinion. Or hurt the word of mouth about the movie, in my opinion. So we talked about the cheese. I do want to mention the little romance. I didn't talk about the romance at all in my regular review, but I will say that the romance here felt genuinely authentic. Like, it didn't feel forced. It wasn't this situation where you have a person who wouldn't at all notice the other person. Like, nah, everything made sense. And the two actors present in the movie for those parts, Jaime Reyes, and I believe her name was like Jennifer Cord or whatever, Vanessa Cord, I don't remember her name, but those two really did a good job when it came to having some on-screen chemistry. So I enjoyed that portion of it quite a bit. Let's talk again about the family though, just, you know, different characters. George Lopez, again, very funny in instances, but then at the same time, he has skills and abilities that, as I watch the movie, I just want to know how does he create a signal jammer in the back of his truck that he could drive to Cord Industries, turn it on, and it jams up all the security camera feeds. Like, I know that they present him as a guy who is slightly techie, like not very techie at all before you get to this portion of the movie, as well as he is a person who's real paranoid. So him creating a signal jammer is in line with his character. But like then after that, like he really started branching out and he's working all the computers and he's basically, George Lopez is the guy in the chair for the movie. And I just wasn't expecting that at all. I didn't think that's, I'm not gonna say it's not good casting, but it just don't make sense that George Lopez would be the guy to be the guy in the chair. So yeah, there's that, and it's kind of inexplicable, and it really stands out as like, wow, he's hacking Ted Core's computer to get in it and get the files and figure out how to get the Scarab off of Jaime Reyes. You have him creating a signal jammer with tools at their house. You have him flying the mechanical old Blue Beetle machine thing, and like he's pressing buttons and doing things, and they pulling up schematics, and I'm like, it just feels weird that George Lopez character is that guy, because he just didn't seem like y'all set him up to be that guy. The villain. So a movie is only good, a superhero movie is normally only as good as its villains. That's what really plagued Marvel for so long, and not really having great villains. And then they went on a run of incredible villains, and now they appear to not really have many great villains, or at least villains get taken out in an inexplicable way if we think back to Ant-Man. But looking at the villain here in Blue Beetle, it's like he's incredibly forgettable. And really and truly, he's basically Bane from the old Batman movie. Like, I think it's Batman Forever or Batman and Robin, wherever Bane showed up with Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy. He's just a henchman, the bad guy here. So we have Jaime Reyes fighting this guy who is in basically a Blue Beetle suit. It's close to the same thing, except it's way more tech. It's way more painful for the user. It's way more dangerous for the user. It's just a rougher version of a Blue Beetle suit. But the real villain is the woman who is running Cord Industries. I think her name is, again, I can't remember if it's Jennifer or Vanessa, but it's the Aunt Cord. She's in here and she's horrible. She is a horrible, horrible person. I really like her portrayal to be just incredibly vindictive and just a horrible individual. But then at the same time, she was borderline mustache twirling. You know what I'm saying? I get her level of vindictiveness though. So again, the family dynamic of things being important. Family was great, and it stood out in the Jaime Reyes character. And then you have the niece who is present, and she gets to see real family in Jaime's family, and that became an issue because this is supposed to be her aunt, but her aunt has been jealous of her brother because her brother got the company. It's like all that stuff helped bring that character together. I think that if you take any of that stuff out, it really makes it mustache twirling villain. But she wasn't all the way mustache twirling. It was she was kind of cheesy, just like some of the other characters in the movie, some of the other scenes in the movie, just super evil, Dr. Evil levels of evil. Her motivations though, kind of, that determination to get the company back and create this one thing that would make the company everything and all the money in the world. Like I'm fine with that. She was kind of redeemable because of that family through line, being jealous of the brother. Let's talk about the Scarab. I do want to talk about the Scarab because I feel like, as though, again, I'm positive on the film. I thought the film was good. Thought it was a good movie, good fun time. I would watch it again. The issue though is that I think they didn't want to do the Venom thing with the Scarab, but they could have done the Venom thing with the Scarab and it would have played very well. So the Scarab is sentient and it is connected to Jaime Reyes. Like the brain and the body and the spirit is all one type of deal. Very cool stuff. I really like the way that stuff was portrayed. And that's gonna also, I'm gonna circle back around to the family because I want to talk about the fallen. But talking about the Scarab, it's like the Scarab can speak to Jaime and nobody else. And it can also speak to other people too through using like the audio, I guess, of the suit. So I feel like they missed the chance to really have some fun. I think they wanted to make the family the funner part of the movie, but it came across as cheesy. They could have had a lot of fun with that Scarab, having that Scarab say things in a very funny way to Jaime Reyes because it is very digital. It's not like Venom, who is organic and he has feelings and he has emotions and personality of his own. The Scarab is kind of there, and the Scarab is very technical. The Scarab could have provided quite a few laughs. It only provided one, like at the very end where it's maybe two times where it's like the host is overreacting. And it was kind of funny because in the moment it did kind of feel like he was overdoing it with screams and the yells. Like, clearly you're being taken care of. This thing does not want to end you. It could have if it wanted to. That was cool. And also at the very, very end of the movie, it's like, I feel blood rushing to your midsection. Like, what's up with it? Like that was a funny, very funny moment. And And I think they could have had a lot more moments like that if they chose to have the scarab be a little bit more present in Jaime's mind. But I'm cool with that. Circling back around, because I'm just sitting here chopping it up with y'all. The father. So the father of the family was a pivotal character. It was basically Jaime Reyes's Uncle Ben moment. The father catches a heart attack when it's like a Cord Industries group come in and like try to get the family, try to find Jaime, and it's like dad doesn't make it. It's something that you can see coming from a mile away, but it still felt great to see it unfold. And to me, that's a signal that this movie was good, because soon as the dad had one serious conversation with Jaime, I thought, oh, he's not making it out of here. He's going to be the emotional connection that's going to catapult Jaime into really embracing the superhero. And it took a little while, but it came back around. It was the near death scene where the father is there and he basically has the same conversation. Like, the universe knows I'm here. I was there for a reason, and now I'm here for a reason to push you into the next phase of life, and you need to embrace it and this and that. And it was a beautiful little moment, and at the same time, it's something that, again, as a movie watcher, you watch the superhero stuff, that there's going to need to be some type of emotional catapult, and that father played the emotional, catapult. He's the fuse that sends Jaime on his way. So I thought that was cool, and it was well executed, even though it was very obvious that it was going to happen. I'm really hoping that it makes more money than it looks like it's going to make. I hope that there's a surge of positive word of mouth that, hey, it's a good time, go see it, and it ends up making more than they expected to make, and that character can be successful, because I like the representation. I really do like the representation. This movie felt very uniquely Latin American. I talked to my former student Danny, who is a Latin American descent. He's from Honduras, and we talked about just one or two things that I saw in the movie that I had no context for. And I asked him, I was like, Danny, what is this? And I talked to him, and he's like, yo, is that in the movie? It's like, yeah, it's in the movie a few times. And he's like, yo, that's something my dad tried to put me on. It's something from back in the day. And then I talked to him about, one of the shows that they keep referencing in the movie is a Maria something. And when I talked to Danny about it, Danny was like, yo, that sounds like basically every telenovela that I've ever watched. So I was like, oh, I forget that's what they called. They're gonna mention those. He's like, really? They got telenovelas in the movie? I was like, yeah, man, it's for you. It's for you. And he was like, yeah, it's not gonna make no money though. And I was like, man. He's real hard on DC, so he's gonna get out and see it. It's gonna be before I edit things down and throw this up. But yeah, man, I hope a lot of people get out and see it opening weekend and moving forward, because it was good. It was good. But that's all my thoughts. Those are all my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll get out of here, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something.